The Duval Rundown, driven by Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Westside, home of the lifetime warranty.
Good morning and happy New Year. Welcome to another edition of Duval Rundown. I'm Hayes. Ryan, good morning. How are you doing?
Good. I'm Faye. You're cutting in and out. Are we celebrating the New Year's?
How are you doing?
Bad Wi-Fi?
With a massive glitch.
Yes, we are.
Hang on. Let's just calm it down. Let's just take it easy. It's all in the hips. Remember, it's all in the hips. Hey, it's all in the hips. All right, Jake, I think we're doing okay now. Does it seem pretty stable? Maybe?
Yeah, you're better.
It seems like you're okay.
Yeah, you're
I think
good
it's
now.
better now. All right. Welcome to another edition of Duval Rundown. I'm Hayes Carlyon. Please be joined with Ryan O'Halloran, columnist of the Florida Times-Union. He won't tell you how much to leave on a tip, on a bill, but he does a hell of a job. Ryan, good morning. Happy New Year.
I'm a 20% guy. If somebody at my table gets a Coors Light, I'll add that to the bill, no problem.
Yeah.
We're really getting inside the baseball of our Jaguar travel stories. But so happy New Year's, everybody watching. Now comes the fun. Now comes the fun stuff.
Yeah. How about this team?
Yeah.
I am blown away by what this season has become. Blown away. Can you put it in perspective?
Yeah, it's unlike any season in Jaguars history because you look at the 96 team, they got hot late.
Right.
The 2017 team got hot at midseason. The 22 team got hot late. This team has been pretty thorough from week one on, with the exception of a 2-week blip, Seattle and the Rams. They've played 16 games. I would say they've no-showed one time, which would be the Rams. They would probably admit that. In fact, they have.
Yeah.
So this is I think you said it on the radio yesterday, and we talked about it on this show. In September, it was get to Thanksgiving and have things matter. That was sort of my goal, is because they don't have a first-round pick. We weren't be able to fill the coverage in December with who they're going to draft.
Yeah.
So a terrific season that is really just beginning.
It's incredible. How do you weigh the Jaguars in relation to the other teams in the AFC? Would you put them like middle of the pack, towards the top, towards the bottom? And is there one or two teams that you really would fear in a matchup if the Jaguars had to face them? Yeah,
I wouldn't fear anybody. Everybody talks, well, nobody wants to play the Houston Texans. I'll counter that by saying nobody should want to play the Jaguars right now. You look at Houston, is the Jaguars beat them in week 3 with Stroud and led them by 19 in the fourth quarter. They should have beat them twice. They've gone to Denver, beat them. New England shouldn't be scared of them at all, regardless of location. So, if the Jaguars get the 3rd seed with the win over the Titans on Sunday, I think that's about where they should be. They didn't, they won one fewer game than the Pats and Broncos. So I think they should be going into the playoffs saying no matter who we play, they'll say, or where they play them, they should feel good about their chances.
Yeah, absolutely. Sunday, they get a big win in Indianapolis. Wasn't pretty at times, but the Jaguars prevail with a 6-point victory. So a lot of teachable moments, but probably a pretty good character-building win for an organization that now heads into, the playoffs.
Yeah, any division road game is good, and they got 2 of those this year. If you take, they should have blown the Colts out if they would have scored early in the red zone. If they would have scored late in the first half on Lawrence's interception, then it's a different game, and the Colts really would have had to, throw it. But they did enough to get the win. They aren't going to be all double-digit wins. Sort of became spoiled by that, but I think it was a good test of, hey, you face some adversity, some of your own doing, and but you overcame it.
As we look ahead to Sunday's matchup, what kind of a home environment do you think there will be? Do you expect it to be raucous like it should be? And what do you think in terms of Tennessee? They've really struggled this year. They've had an interim coach in place for a really long time, but they're 2-2 in their last 4, and they're averaging 26 points per game in that 4-game run. So offensively, it looks like Tennessee's at least, establishing a pretty consistent pulse.
Yeah, I'll start with the atmosphere on Sunday. I'll be pleasantly surprised if it's great, because if you're a Jaguar fan who buys single game tickets, you're saying I'm waiting for next week, which is totally justifiable. The weather's supposed to be fine, but I see the team is making a push to, what was it, pack the bank or something like that?
Blitz the bank.
Blitz the bank. So there obviously are a lot of seats available. It's not a great stadium. It's, not a great amenities.
Yeah.
So people are going to stay home until the playoffs, I would think. But as for this Titans team, you mentioned their offensive numbers in the last month. This is how bad they were offensively throughout the season. They're still 31st in yards. They're still 30th in points. But where it really sticks out is in 2 of their last 3 games, they allowed Shedeur Sanders to go for 351. And they allowed Tyler Shaw, who's a better quarterback than Shedeur Sanders, to go for 320 for New Orleans. They cannot stop anybody right now, even with Jeffrey Simmons, who was a menace to the Jaguars in the team's first meeting. So I think this is a game where you have to be wary of the Titans offense because this is their last game. They're going to be doing kitchen sink stuff. You have to be wary of the special teams with John Fossil, who could have a couple wrinkles. But this is a Titans defense that is there for the picking for this Jaguar offense.
Yeah, it really is incredible when you look at what the Titans have done to opposing quarterbacks, or what I should say they haven't done, what opposing quarterbacks have done to the Tennessee Titans. 68.5% completion percentage, 27 passing touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Opposing quarterbacks have a passer rating of 106.8 against the Tennessee Titans. 106.8 would rank 4th in the league if applied to a singular player. So basically, a quarterback facing the Tennessee Titans this year would be in the MVP race. And they've gotten worse, to your point, as the year has gone on, because attrition has really mounted as they've gotten deeper into the year. So you'd have to think, Trevor Lawrence with these weapons, it's an air show Sunday, right?
I think so. Throw to win. I think it's if you're prioritizing for Liam Cohen as a play caller, A, you want to win the game. B, you want to get some guys going. To me, that would be, okay, I thought Brian Thomas had taken a couple steps forward, took a couple steps back against the Colts. Yeah. That he double caught that one, was broken up. He should have caught it. So, and also this run game, I think, is just not doing anything right now. I think you saw a little bit of a ray of light against the Colts, but you try and commit to that to see what can be unlocked for the playoffs there. So, the main objective is winning, getting your hat and your T-shirt after the game, but also you have to be thinking ahead a little bit, saying, okay, we got to make sure this is locked in for when the real stuff starts.
Yeah, without a doubt. You mentioned Simmons, and obviously he's is an elite player as it comes in this league. If you're the Titans, do you play him Sunday? Do you at least have a conversation with him about, hey, Jeffrey, if you want to play, great, but we're totally fine with you wanting to sit this one out. If you want to, we can say that you had a hamstring tighten up in Wednesday's practice, and we just don't want to risk it. But it doesn't have to necessarily be that a quote like opting out. But if you're the Tennessee Titans, why would you put him out there with the chance to blow out his knee on January 4th?
Yeah, I think a player of his stature, you have to have a conversation with him, probably yesterday. And also because of that, because he's what he's done for your franchise, if he wants to play, then you let him play.
Right.
Maybe you have another conversation later in the week saying, hey, let's limit you to third downs a little bit. And the other thing is, does he have some contractual incentives for individual numbers that merit monitoring? So the less he plays, the better the Jags are. the better the Jags will be.
Yeah, no doubt about it. In terms of Cam Ward, he's done a pretty good job in terms of the interceptions. He's only thrown 7. Tennessee is 3rd in the league offensively in interception rate, so they're elite in terms of not throwing it to the other team. But the explosives really haven't been there, and he has been sacked a ton. He's been sacked 55 times, which is tied for the most in the NFL. Do you have any concern about what Cam Ward could do to the Jaguar defense?
I think if he gets out of the pocket, yes. But I thought they did a decent job with Bo Nix 2 weeks ago in terms of being disciplined in your rush lanes. What you noticed about Cam Ward in the first Titans-Jaguar game is he scrambled into pressure, which a lot of young quarterbacks do because you're trying to extend a play. You're not really thinking about living for another down. If I'm a Titans fan, you hit the number that would concern me moving forward is 55 sacks. That doesn't include the knockdowns, doesn't include the carries where he was hit. The new coach for the Titans is going to have to really make sure he's not broken mentally so he can stay right physically, because that is a lot of punishment. He's gone through a lot of stuff this year. And as we've found firsthand, when quarterbacks fail in this league, it's often extenuating circumstances like playing for a terrible franchise like the Titans are now.
Yeah, without a doubt. Jacob Simon's helping us out on Duval Rundown as always. Jacob is not feeling well today, so everybody send your well wishes to Jacob for a speedy recovery. And but Jacob, he's an Iron Man, and he's helping us out despite not feeling great. So Jacob, thank you so much. Hope you feel better. And let's say hello to our sponsor, please.
Falou for Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Westside, your locally owned commercial truck headquarters and proud partner of the Jaguars. For hard-to-find ProMaster vans or commercial trucks for your fleet, visit jaxwest.com today.
Ryan, let's talk a little bit more in depth about Trevor Lawrence. Obviously you and I have both talked it multiple times this season, particularly in the first half, once we got to the Arizona game, of boy, we need to see more. He needs to step it up. To his credit, he really has. I mean, he has been historically great over this last 4 or 5 game stretch. What are you seeing out of Trevor Lawrence? Why do you feel like it is clicking? And I mean, you have to think Sunday is going to be an opportunity for Trevor Lawrence to have another one of those gaudy stat lines.
Yeah, I think so on the stat line part. And, our little bumper here, can Lawrence continue the hot streak? Well, it's right there for him to do that. What's impressed me over these last, it's a 7-game win streak. So let's go to the last 5 games since Arizona. Yeah. It's just, like the decision making. You saw it a couple times against Indianapolis, but in the 4 games before then, you can't remember an interception that was dropped. You can't remember a pass that was really thrown into a high traffic area. He got away with one to Parker Washington against the Colts where Parker went up and got it. And then he threw the interception in the end zone, which was just a bad throw. So that's what's been the encouraging part. His willingness to run against man coverage, which is just easy pickings. And he's learned how to protect himself on those runs. That's another thing. But what you see as a player who is in command of what he's being told to do offensively. Have they narrowed down the package? Probably so, but that's what every team does. Have they accentuated his positives? Yes, but that's what every team does. But I think it's been a marvelous job of coaching by the Jaguar staff to help Lawrence get to the spot where he is now. And I'll wrap it up by saying, you're right, Hayes. We were critical of him throughout the season, justifiably so. People thought we were picking on him. Well, I don't know about you, but when I wrote several Lawrence columns that was being critical, I did not hear one word from the organization. They knew they knew he was struggling.
Yeah, they knew. Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not I'm not going to be, catering to the team here. I'm going to call it like I see it. I'm not going to be talking to my national media buddies and saying, well, what about the Jaguars? I'm worried about covering this team for the Times Union. I don't care about the national media.
Yeah, exactly. What do you think will play out in terms of where the Jaguars end up seating wise and who they end up playing?
Yeah, I mean, it's the most simple deal is you win, you're the 3. then it gets you can get the two if the Broncos lose to the Chargers JV team, if the Patriots lose to the Dolphins, which might be a little gamey up in Foxborough. But let's say they're the three. There's a whole bunch of things. The most likely is that Buffalo beats the Jets and they're the 6. I didn't like this matchup 2 weeks ago, but now Josh Allen has a bad foot.
Yeah.
That and Kincaid is hurt.
Right.
At the receiver spot, they're leaning on Brandon Cooks.
Yeah.
And also defensively, they look like I think that was more about the Eagles in that game than the Bills. So I would like that matchup for the Jaguars. Frankly, I like their matchup against anybody in the first round.
I do too. It's funny because normally we're not the two most optimistic people when it comes to this organization, but I have to agree. I mean, the way the Jaguars are playing such great complementary football, they don't really have a tremendous weakness. And when you look at the other teams that they could play, I think those teams do. And we'll start with the Bills. The Bills haven't stopped the run all year long. Josh Allen is not himself. It's clear. Now, could he get closer to 100% in the next 10 days? Perhaps. He could also get worse. But watching him the other night, I mean, he is laboring. Every time he gets hit, he is grabbing around that foot and ankle area. He's limping off the field, and it's affecting his accuracy. And if he can't move much, he goes from being the hardest player in the league to defend, or certainly one of them, to, a good player, but not necessarily one that could just put a team on his shoulders and go win in the road in the tournament. The Chargers, we've talked at length about their tackle issue on offense. And I mean, Herbert's been playing with a broken hand. They're not even going to play him this week to try and get him closer to healthy. So they have massive problems on offense. You look at the Texans. I mean, I thought CJ Stroud the other night might be turning the page with how he started that game with the 2 long touchdown passes, but then he was dreadful the rest of the game. So, yes, and Houston has by far the best defense in the NFL. But, I mean, all these teams that they could play, I think, have serious flaws. And, I mean, I'll say it right now. I don't think I'm going to pick against the Jaguars in the wild card round.
Yeah, I'm probably with you on that one. Every coach in the AFC who's in the playoffs on Monday should start their presentation by showing a picture of the Lombardi Trophy, because they say it's wide open, fellas.
Yeah.
Whoever's going to play well over the next 3 weeks is going to go to Santa Clara. Lamar Jackson could be in, but he may not even play.
Yeah.
Burrow's out. Mahomes is out. Pittsburgh, I'm not going to count them. So
right.
It's Drake May, second-year quarterback. Bo Nix, second-year quarterback. So there are a lot of every team is flawed, but yeah, I mean, we dig into the matchups next week. But I think I think the Jaguars should, if you do take care of your business on Sunday, you should go into the playoffs in a roll. And the other thing is, if I'm Liam Cohen, the one thing you have to think about is if you are up 21-3 at halftime, you start pulling guys. If Robert Hainsey is active, do you sit him down? Do you sit Lawrence down if you're up? I think that's something they have to do during their situational masters meeting on Friday, because the long game is winning next week.
Yeah, without a doubt. Great stuff. Ryan, what's coming up on Jacksonville.com?
Well, I had to file a Friday column yesterday, which I did four positive developments and 4 potential areas of concern going into the playoffs. And then we'll have some predictions on Saturday, and we'll be there on Sunday for the game.
Fantastic. You can follow Ryan at Ryan O'Halloran. I'm sure most of you already do, but if you're not already, make sure you do that. Ryan gives you great stuff on social media, and certainly Jacksonville.com. Read his excellent work there. Ryan, thank you so much. Happy New Year. And I guess we got to get down and go talk to Liam Cohen. So I'll see you later in about 30 minutes.
Yeah, see you later.
All right. That's going to do it for us. Thanks for watching Duval Rundown. Sorry for the little glitchy start, but it seemed like we recovered pretty well. Have a happy New Year. Enjoy these Jaguars. Blitz the bank. If you're not planning on going to the stadium, get down there. It's going to be not just a game. It's going to be one of these events that we talk about for a very long time, and you're going to want to be a part of it. For now, that's going to do it for us. I'm Hayes Carline for Ryan O'Halloran for For Jacob Simons, thanks for watching Duval Rundown. We'll be back on Friday with Rick Ballou. Have a great day. Happy New Year.